Well, here it is. I'm going to be doing a more beginner how to get started with the glitched category of Sonic 1. If you're someone just come to this game brand new, you found it either off a YouTube video or a speedrun.com leaderboard, then I definitely recommend joining the Discord. I'll put it in the description. In the respective games channel, there will be loads of people willing to answer questions, and especially if you post kind of videos of what you're doing, people can say where you're going wrong. In terms of learning this game initially, I definitely recommend using an emulator, whether you have a console or not, or a platform that it's on Steam or whatever. If you have something with save states, that is going to be by far the easiest way to learn initially, just learning sections of the game until you put it together. So in terms of what emulators are allowed, it's either Fusion or RetroArch. Well, the actual emulator core will be given in. You can find these all on the speedrun.com leaderboards. I'll link to that as well. By far the easiest one to set up is Fusion, because you can literally just run the game and go. Whereas RetroArch, you might need to go through a lot more settings for controller wise and display wise. But people swear by RetroArch being a much better, much nicer emulation, and once you have it set up. So I use Fusion, whatever you want, as long as you got save states you can use. Also, RetroArch has rewind. Fusion won't have rewind. In terms of other things to get set up before a run, it's OBS and being able to record if you plan on submitting it to the leaderboard. So pretty much everyone I know uses OBS. OBSproject.com. I'll link to that as well. I think that's all the external stuff to the game. Again, come to the Discord if you want to ask for any other resources, like needing ROMs and things. So there's also a handy practice ROM for hardware if you happen to have an EverDrive or something like that on actual hardware. The only other thing to mention in terms of practice tools is the level select in this game. So if you let it get to the main menu where Sonic pops up, it'll be up, down, left, right, and then holding A and pressing start. And then you can even make a save state on this screen if you like to always come back to this screen. In Fusion, the save states are F5 to save and F8 to load, and then F6 and F7 will switch slots. I plan on doing this tutorial a little bit differently to some old ones, because I'm not going to do the levels in order. I'm going to try and introduce the easiest glitches first. They'll kind of introduce you to the sort of things which save a lot of time in this category. And you can show off his party tricks. But also, they're the things in a glitched run that kind of everyone on the leaderboard can try and include in order to save loads of time compared to not doing them. So if you want to plan out your routing of kind of what glitches you're going to want to include in your goal of a run or not, then these are the good ones to start looking at first. Last thing to mention before I start is my input viewer down in the bottom left there. So I've got the D-pad on these four, and then these three over here are my jump buttons. So I'm going to be starting on Marble 2, because this is the kind of quintessential level wrap first biggest glitch that a lot of people have seen in the past. Unfortunately, you die if you get it wrong. So the main challenge for beginners of this run is going to be simply getting to the end of the game without game overing. That's why you shouldn't worry too much about your specific movement through the virtual stages. First of all, if you want to just complete a run, you should look at doing these very specific glitches, because the thing about the glitches in this game is that they will only work if you're on the correct pixel or using the exact correct frames, and it's not worth just wasting your time by randomly trying to attempt them over and over again without knowing exactly what you're looking for, because that won't help you improve. You have to, each time, whether you succeed or not, you have to know whether you are on that correct pixel or hitting that correct frame, or whether you are early or whether you are late. So I'll try and do my best to show exactly the exact positioning you're looking for. It's the only way it's going to work. So this is all the level we're going to see for this level. We're going to start here. We're going to run to the right onto this platform. So you're waiting for the platform to be at the top and standing on it. And before the platform goes back down, you're going to be moving to the left to try and stand on the leftmost pixel of its platform, so of the edge of this platform. So it's helpful to pause here. You don't have to. The best technique for getting onto the pixel is to just tap left in small increments. Instead of trying to hold it down for precise times, you just tap a little bit. And once you're down over here, once you're down past kind of here or lower, you won't be able to tap anymore, or the wall will push you out. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. So there you saw it, I snapped out. I'll be teetering on the corner, and then I've started trying to push left too late, so I've lost all my progress. Now I have to move back over, so I left a big chunk again. So the goal is to move into the right place in the time it takes before the platform goes down. If you aren't quite in the right place before the platform's gone down too low and you don't want to risk popping out, you can just wait for it to cycle all the way back up again, and now you're above the grass level, you can start tapping left again until you're on this pixel. The way I'm looking for this pixel is at the base of Sonic's foot, where his foot starts raising off the ground under his heel. You have flat black pixels on his toes until a certain point. Where the flat black pixels end, if I go down to the rocks, you can see it easier. You can see that the last spike of grass on the level with the edge of the moving platform is visible under his foot there. If you are one pixel, so this is the last pixel, this is the correct position that you want to see it looking like. If you were not quite far enough and you were 2 pixels from the edge instead of 1, like this, where you can see now the level of grass is not as high, it's 1 pixel lower. This is just the visual cue that I use, but obviously there's whatever is most useful to you. The only other thing to remember about getting in place for the pixel is if you go past more than halfway on this platform, this buzz bar appears, and then you're going to have to wait to dodge his bullet or kill him before you can line up again, otherwise you'll get hit by that. So you start on the platform, once it's up and up, you can tap left. I was pressing left for a bit too larger chunks there, it will work better if you tap like so. Here I'm 1 pixel, not far enough, a little bit further. There we go. So this is the correct pixel. Now I'm going to wait until the top of the platform is past halfway on this purple block here. The large purple block to the left of it, top of the grass, halfway to there. Or lower, anywhere between there and halfway on the next block. So it's a big window that you're looking for. Is where we're going to do this next input. So this next input might be slightly difficult initially, but it's kind of a staple input in lots of these tricks and just jumping in general. So this game has 3 jump buttons, A, B, and C on the Genesis controller. You want to just as a habit get used to pressing them 1 frame after each other, called pianoing. So you kind of roll your fingers. Either you swipe your thumb or you roll your 3 fingers over them, like drumming on the table. Da-da-da, but 1 frame apart. And that ensures you get kind of 3 jump inputs 1 frame after another, which will make hitting certain jump windows much easier than trying to hit them on a specific frame. So once the platform is down in that range that I mentioned, halfway through this block, lower, we're going to be pressing right, be holding down right, and jumping 1 frame after the right button is pressed. Now, you might think, oh, that's a frame perfect input, but because you're pianoing the jump buttons like this, you make it not a frame perfect input anymore, because you have kind of 3 jump attempts to hit the correct frame. If you press right and do that piano action across the 3 jump buttons at the same time, then one of those jump buttons is very likely to be on the frame after the right press. It doesn't matter if you accidentally hit one earlier and jump on the same frame as the right press, because you're in a situation where you can't jump straight away anyway. You can only jump on the frame after the right press has been held for 1 frame. So that means that by pianoing this way, you're very likely to hit the input that you need. All you need to do is press right and piano the 3 jump buttons at the same time and in the specific window once you've waited for the platform to go down past halfway in this block. So let's give it a go. You just hold all the buttons down once you slammed them, and you should go through the wall like that. You can fail in certain ways. If you let's give a couple of examples of doing it too late or too early. If you miss the jump input one frame after the right input, let's say you're late on your jumps, so you press right and then you press jumps instead of kind of both at the same time. Then you're going to be going like this. Ah, you didn't get a jump off, so you just bonk the level boundary and fall down and die. That's the problem with this run. If you're doing it in full game run, you're going to lose a life every time you fail that way, and you only have 3 lives. You can pick up a couple of extra ones. You only have like 5 lives over the course of the run. So it's definitely useful with save states here, practicing this input from this point, practicing this piano right input to get that jump more and more consistently until when you get here in the level in a run, you know that you can pull it off. But obviously this skips the entire level, goes straight to the signpost, so it's really worth getting into your runs if you're going for a glitch category. The only other thing to think about is once you've successfully done it, you're waiting for the camera to scroll to the end, for the signpost to load. You're going to hold left at a certain point while the camera is scrolling across in order to be standing on top of the signpost when the camera gets there. And that's when this big purple wall comes into view and it's halfway across the screen like this. Then you hold left. You have the signpost. If you get this on the first cycle of the platform as early as possible, you'll always get 11 seconds. But don't worry about trying to get immediately to the first cycle of this platform every time. If you want to take time to line up on this pixel, then just let the platform go down, come up, line up the pixel again, let the platform go down, and now it's past halfway on this block any second now, so I'm going to right and jump. Miss my jumps. That time I reckon I pressed all the jumps kind of at the same time as the right key. I didn't piano them across. So all my jumps were too early, basically. Yeah, no rush getting in this pixel position. As long as you are looking exactly for the pixel and know that's the correct one you want to get on. If you get there eventually, that's the best way to learn it. We're waiting for the wall to come across the screen, and there, hold left. That was Marble 2. We're moving on to Marble 3, because it's in a pretty similar vein, so I'll stick with the Marble ones for now. Again, we're going to go to the first platform. This time we're going to line up on the right-hand side of it, so the left-hand side of it. So if you don't get the first cycle, you can wait for the buzz bar. We want to be, when it's on top of the grass like this, you want to tap to the right so that your foot is sticking halfway, somewhat inside the block to the right. It doesn't have to be that precise compared to the pixel of the last one. We just need to be slightly inside this block to our right. And then we let it descend without pressing anything. And once we're below this line in the ground underneath the grass, we can hold right to drop into the wall. Once we're dropping into the wall, let go of right again, because you don't want to be zipping once you're in the wall. So just let Sonic land. And we're down here, we're waiting for the platforms to get out the way, to get in the right place. We're going to be level roughing again, but this platform to our left here is blocking our way. We need to fit under it. So if you made it here, we're waiting for the platform to switch around. So now that this one on the right is low enough down, we can actually line ourselves up against it to make this more consistent. So now that this is lower than this line here, or somewhere around here that you can't fit underneath it anymore, there isn't a Sonic size gap. Just give left a quick tap, and you can see that Sonic's turned around and lined up against the right-hand platform here. His spikes are a fancy lava color at the moment because we're somewhere we're not supposed to be. We're lined up on this one before this platform has got all the way to the top. We're waiting for this platform on the left to go all the way to its highest point, which is gonna look like this. I'll try and show you the yeah, there we go. So you can see when it's just about getting to its highest point, because underneath it there are 3 lines of lava, 3 pixel lines of lava, which are a different. They're moving differently to the rest of the block of lava, as it were. So if you see exactly where my mouse is here, there's 1, 2, and 3 lines of pixels, which are the last 3 lines of pixels you'll see when the platform gets to the top and it'll start going back down again. So once you see 2 or 3 of these, you've got a decently sized window, like a good few frames, maybe 5, I'm not sure, maximum to do this. Better to try and do it slightly earlier than slightly late, I'd say. We're going to be doing a similar input to Marble 2, so we're going to be pressing right and pianoing the jump buttons, but we're not going to be doing it at exactly the same time like we were before. We're not trying to jump the frame after pressing right this time. We're going to jump 3 frames after pressing right. So you just delay your jump buttons a little bit more, still pianoing them because you can't jump too early. So you still want to have a chance of all 3 of them being on the correct, one of the 3 of them being the correct one. So we're going to go right jump, instead of all at the same time. We're going to be going da-da. I'd say that's the timing of it. Anyway, so it is right jump. Let's do a couple of examples of failing the jump input, whether it's too late or too early. So we get in here, line up against that one right with a left tap. So let's say the platform's about to be at the top. I'm going to do my inputs, but I go like this. Now I jumped too late on purpose. So if you see Sonic start moving to the left, but then kind of get stuck under the platform, then you probably haven't jumped in time, and your jumps are a bit late. Alternatively, you do it too early, similar thing. You don't hear a jump at all though there, because if you've pressed all your jumps too early, there's no point at which Sonic could have jumped because you're still in the wall. So if it's too late, you get stuck under here, but you hear a jump input possibly, and if it's too early, then you just get stuck under here, you don't hear a jump. That's the most common scenarios that it's going to happen. The only other thing is getting the timing right for actually starting pressing right when the platform is up. So if the platform is not quite high enough and you try and go, you'll die very quickly, very instantly like that. So you'll get crushed by the platform. If you're a bit late on starting the inputs, the platform has been up and you're just coming back down again. Again, a similar thing. So if you get stuck for a second under the platform before you get crushed, then that means you've just missed the jump timing, but you've started going at the right time. If you get crushed kind of instantly, then you've started moving at the wrong time where the platform is not quite at its highest point. So if you get this one successfully, we've got a boss to fight. Can't go to the signpost this time, so we just wait for the camera to catch up, and we're going to hear the boss music. So the boss music's going to start its intro with the dings. Once it dings 4 times, the main melody is going to start. We want to do our first big jump to hit the boss on the first note of the melody, so you hear it here. That first big jump when the main melody comes in, after 4 dings. And then as soon as we land, we're going to be jumping again. So again, it's good use of pianoing the jump buttons here. As I'm about to hit the ground, I'm going to be pianoing across the jump buttons so that one of them is going to be like as early as possible. We get a second hit. Once you got the second hit, I'm going to be holding left. And we're going to do a little jump, only not holding down this time, to get across the middle gap. So we don't hit into him and fall into the lava. Now we're on the left-hand side, we're going to get 1, 2, 3. This side we can get 3. We want to stay on the right side of him as opposed to directly in the middle, especially for the third jump. The first 2 you can get wherever. For the third jump, he's going to be dropping this fire, which will kill you if you're not to the side. So after the third jump, we hold right and we jump back over the big jump to the right. Now he's coming back, we get the last 3 hits here. 1, 2, and 3. He might drop his fire, which means he needs to jump back over to the left and back over to the right again. Doesn't lose any time because he's spending time flying off the screen. And then it's just taking the capsule, which you have to figure out for yourself. It's always the hardest part of the boss. We covered Marble 2, we covered Marble 3, now back to Marble 1. That's right, every Marble stage is a glitched stage. There's some very specific movement at the start of Marble 1. I've just been covering the glitches so far. I'm probably just going to point to a glitchless guide on how to do the normal movement through the rest of the levels. But if you want to jump exactly where I am, you can see where my inputs are and see where I'm jumping. So let's see. Roll down the slope. So we roll down the slope in order to break the box. We need this box to be broken for the glitch to work. So we're going to jump onto this platform. It's a similar thing to Marble 2 here. We're going to get on a certain pixel on the left of the platform. This time it's 3 pixels from the edge instead of on the last pixel. So again, you have to wait until certain points where you're not getting pushed out by the wall, and it's easiest to quickly tap left again. So this is what we want it to look like. Again, I'm looking at the bottom of Sonic's foot in the same place I was on Marble 2, so where the flat black pixels on the bottom of his toes are, the back one of that is level with this black line in between the grass here. So it makes an L shape there. That will be the 3rd pixel from the left, the one that you're looking for. And once you're on that pixel at some point down here, you can wait for the platform to rise up to a certain place. This time we're waiting for the platform to rise up. It's easier than waiting for the platform to go down like Marble 2. This one's going up. So what I'm looking for here as it's going up is the top line of the grass of the platform. Once again, it's going to be in line with this light pixel kind of halfway, exactly halfway through these blocks here. The blocks are in shadow to the right. Halfway line of those going to be lined up with the top of the grass. So the input to do at that point, this is much more of a precise point to get this input. It's only a couple of frames in this area now. The input to do once it's exactly lined up there is going to be left plus jumps. We really want to hold left for a very short amount of time. If you hold left for too long, you get stuck in this wall and not make it out the other side. This time, channeling the jump buttons doesn't matter as much because we need to hit the jump buttons on the 2nd frame after pressing left. If you hit it on the same frame as pressing left or just after pressing left, Sonic will probably just jump in spot like this. We really want to hit it a little bit after. Not lax enough that Marble 3, that was 3 frames after, that was like, but a 2 frame after, so how else can I explain the timing? But yeah, if you, again, save state's really, really helpful. If you save state like this, when you know you're on the correct pixel, and the platform's about to reach the top of here, you can just practice that input over and over again. So you get one that goes through the wall. So not holding left for very long at all, pressing the jumps just after the left button. When the platform is just above this halfway line of this, if you hold left too long, it's going to look like this. You won't get through the first wall if you're just completely holding land left, or if you hold left for an awkward amount of time, slightly too long. There we go, then you'll hit the inside wall, other side of this, you'll be stuck in here. If you just tap left again, you'll zip into a place where you get crushed to die to retry the level very quickly. So we're trying to really let go of the left input very quickly after. So if you get the input, you jump through the wall, you'll bonk against this one. All you have to do is climb up across the chandelier as if you're coming up from the rest of the level. By the bats. And don't get crushed by that, I guess. Final inputs to the end of the level, I like to jump onto this one and then across this one with a medium jump. Holding right to the end. Yeah, if you can get these Marble Zone ones down, then that's the main massive step towards completing a glitched run. A lot of the other levels don't save as much time with the glitches anyway. If you can get a run with these successfully in it and then complete the game kind of normally after that, you'll still have a really respectable time on the any percent leaderboards, really. Then you can just learn more strats from there. I'll try and come back with a couple of videos. I reckon I'll leave it with this marbles section as one video now.